everybody. I'm so excited. Welcome to the Real Talk Show with Dr. G.R.I.T. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Today, we're going to talk about a lot of different topics, definitely about relationships, dating, the big S word, and all that other kind of good stuff. I can tell you I'm super excited about this. I know love is in the air. I don't know about you, but I've seen people getting married left and right. I'm seeing people having children, and it seems like everybody's finding their mate, I guess just it's in the air. So, hey, maybe one day, I don't know, I might get lucky. Who knows? But anyways, I'm not really, I'm supposed to sit back and wait, right? So, anyways, I wanted to bring on here an expert entrepreneur and someone who is very familiar with the subject of relationships and dating and sex and all that other kind of good stuff. So I'm going to bring on Belize Spivey. She is a phenomenal entrepreneur. She has helped many people as an STD coach to just kind of overcome, heal, and move forward with their lives. And so I want to talk to her. I'm going to bring her up, and she's going to just kind of tune us in and let us know all of her goods, what she's got going on, and how you guys can be in touch with her. So with that said, welcome, Belize Spivey. How are you?
All right, doctor. Last time I seen you on the doctor yet. So Dr. White, come on. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, love. Thank you. I know you're on your journey too, so I'm here for you if you need that.
Please be here for me in a spirit.
Listen, it's a lot. It's a lot, but you got this. You got this. So tell us, oh my God, it's so good seeing you. So a little bit about Belize. We met in Atlanta on Wanda's show, and it was just an instant connection. Like, we just knew, like, okay, this is it. Like, we're in each other's tribe. So I'm so grateful to have your friendship, your business, and you are a wonderful soul. And so a lot of people don't know who you are. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'm Belize Spivey. I'm known as the STD life coach. If you're kind of like, what is it? That's me. That's it. That's all it is. It's just me. I'm the only one in the world. You won't find no more until I create some. Because people ask me all the time, like, what is it? Well, I became an STD life coach after living with herpes for 7 years. I ended up finding out I had genital herpes while I was at college at Auburn. I was traumatized, number one, because I was at a school and it felt like I was the only one there. And then on top of that, I was like, I have an STD that I can't get rid of. Like, I don't know what my life is going to look like, especially in the African American community. You feel like if you get something you can't get rid of, your love life is just in shambles. So I just felt like my life is over. I was only 19 at that time. So I was like, yeah, my life is over. Yeah. But after really getting to a place of sitting down and realizing, no, whatever has me is because of me, I realized this is not going to take control of my life. I'm going to live the life I want to live, and I'm going to be happy. I have been married. I have been divorced. I have had 2 kids. I have going on 3 degrees and a business. So that's a lie. It was all a lie. It was all a lie. A lot of us can't feel like we have no way to turn. So I focused in herpes. Like, that was my heart, because I turned around and looked around and realized it wasn't no Black women. I was like, I don't see no Black men, and they're saying we're number 1 for this thing, but I don't see nobody who's looking like me. So I decided, hey, I'm going to do this thing. I'm scared out my mind, but I'm going to do this thing. I came out the womb bold. I came out the womb with a loud mouth, so I'm going to utilize it for us. So I just started doing it. Like, I was 7 years in. At that time, I was already married. So I rolled over to my partner and I was like, hey, I know what I want to do. And he was like, finally. Finally, you know what you want to do. You got these degrees. What do you want to do? And I was like, yeah, I want to talk about this herpes thing. And I think he just looked at me like I was crazy, thinking I was going to do it behind the curtain. But he got a wake-up call when he woke up and everybody called him like I was fine. I was like, yeah, I was doing that. He said, I didn't think you were going to tell the world. But at the end of the day, he backed me in the background. You know how that goes. He backed me in the background. And I did my thing, and I was able to truly make an impact, especially on social media, especially YouTube.
So tell us, I looked at some of your YouTube, and you made a video, and it said, I have herpes, now what, right? How many views do you have on that?
First video.
Yeah, how many views?
1.7 million. 1.7
Girlfriend.
mil.
Wow. So
That's
this
the video that
became,
made me viral.
wow, like to me, this is awesome because like people would hide, a status like that. And you are like blasting it and helping people. It's like you're
Right.
saying what the devil meant for evil, I'm going to turn this thing around for good. God's going to turn it around for good. And I just want to honor
Absolutely.
you for that. I don't know about herpes. I don't know about these things. But I respect you and I respect you in your field. And so you mentioned that since your diagnosis at 19, you've been married, you've been divorced, you've had, um, partners, whatever. So my question is, let's take it back to when you first found out when you were 19, your
Mhm.
mindset then as a young female and your mindset now. And what would you tell people that have herpes or other diseases that they're just having to live with? How do they
Mhm.
how do they how do they overcome? How do they deal with that? What has helped you along your journey? Because you have such a great spirit, and I find that I don't see that being typical of people that are dealing with different, situations such as this. So, how were you when you were 19, when you first found out your mindset, and then how are you now? And what was the change?
Okay, so my mindset at 19 was I do what I want because I want to do it. Literally, that was my mindset. Just to be very transparent, I started having sex at like 13. So I really had that. I'm invincible. I made it this far with nothing. Because
You
literally, this
didn't
was my first
okay, you didn't
experience
have
in
like
my
a
life.
sex talk or anything? You didn't have a sex talk, no birds and the bees, no. I didn't have a sex talk either, so I understand. But I'm just
My sex
asking
talk was
the
porn.
audience.
That was my sex talk.
What?
That was, if we want to keep it real, porn was my sex talk.
Okay.
We're gonna keep it
Oh,
real.
right,
We're gonna
right,
keep it
right.
very. You
We
said
are keeping
real,
it
so
real.
that was my sex, which is many of us. Kids just
Right.
stumble upon things. Parents try to hide stuff, but kids got sticky
Yeah.
fingers. We tend to find stuff that they try to hide.
Right. Right.
But that was my sex talk. So I started at 13. So me getting to 19 and I'm in the clear. No kids, no nothing. I was like, yes, I made it to college. I got this. I'm about to keep doing my thing. And God
Right.
said, I'm tired of you, okay? Because you're tripping. You really think you got this. I've been the one saving you the whole time, but you're trying to make it about yourself, and it's not. So at that point, I really, when it happened, I was like, God, I know I'm supposed to not do this. But you've been on my side. Like, what? Why would you do this to me now? And it really made me stop and look at why I kept doing what I was doing.
Did you have any
Um,
red flags? Did you have any red flags when you were with this guy? Like, did you sense anything even when before sex? Did he say anything? Was it no symptoms, nothing? He was just all cool. Did you ask him if he had anything? Did you know?
not
No
even asking
medical
my
test?
questions. I didn't have a sex talk, let alone ask a question. But
Right.
no, this guy, interestingly, when I found out, that video you talked about, I told it from my standpoint of in it. When I found out I had sex with a young man, me and him had, hung out a couple of times. It was a night, we drank some alcohol. He got a little tipsy. I was tipsy with him. Whoop, that's what happened. The thing is, and we use protection. That's the interesting part. We did use protection, but
Oh
oral, we don't
wow.
use anything. So we know if you're gonna do oral, you really just have unprotected sex completely. Kind of just don't feel like you did, but you did. You took out
So you use protection and it still passed to you.
skin to skin contact. Skin
So
to skin contact.
plain skin to skin because people might not understand. So
Yeah.
explain that.
So with herpes, it's a skin to skin. It's contract through skin to skin contact. Just like, let me use the example, it's chicken pox. You touch it, boom, there you go. Chances are you may, chances are you not. The same way we understand chicken pox. It's in the
Hmm.
same family. So if you understand chicken pox, then you will understand how herpes function. The only difference is it's more sexual than it is, oh, I messed around and I played with my cousin. It's totally different from that aspect, but it functions the same. So when you put a condom on when a guy put a condom on his penis, That's all he's putting it on. He's not putting it on his pubic area. He's not putting it on any other area. So now he's still open because as women, all that stuff is out on the outside. At the end of the day, if she's having any outbreaks, if any of her outbreaks are outside, which most outbreaks are outside, they're not internal, then he was at a chance. And also, he could have gave it to her if his is not on his penis as well. So the condom is only protecting so much.
Okay, so what about if two people have herpes and they get together? Are there different herpes strands, or is it like, I don't know how that works?
No, good question. That's a really good question. So when you do your research on herpes, anybody who kind of look it up, the first thing they're gonna say is type 1 is oral, type 2 is genital. Throw it away. Literally, just throw it away. Because at the end of the day, most people are having oral sex and genital sex and anal sex and everything else they do these days. So at the end of the day, with that, if I have it orally, which most people don't believe, and I'm gonna have to bust some bubbles. If you get cold sores and fever blisters, you have herpes. I'm sorry, but you do. If you get cold sores or fever blisters, you have herpes. That's a form of
blisters
herpes.
or cold sores.
A lot of people. Fever blisters or cold sore that you see on people lip around winter. Winter's starting to creep up. So, most people are like, oh, I get cold sore. They come and go. I don't have them since I was a child. Yes, you did have them as a child because somebody kissed you as a child, or you came through the womb and you got it that way. A lot of people don't know that.
Are those contagious? Like, if somebody has a cold sore and they kiss you on the mouth or something, then you would get. Okay. This is great information.
Yeah, most people
this is why we're opening it up to people. Because
and I like to tell people that they get so. I have people get so mad at you when you say, "Well, I had it since I was a child." Your mama kissed you, your grandma kissed you, your auntie kissed you, your cousins kissed on you. Nobody thought it was nothing. But you remember what our grandmothers or our aunts say? Don't let nobody be kissing your baby in the mouth.
Yeah.
Clearly, that's what they were talking about. They didn't know the name of it, but they knew it was something that was contagious. They just didn't know what it was. Yeah.
Okay. So is there an opportunity if you did have herpes and you are with someone, or any disease, and you're with someone that if you have relations with someone else, they could not get it? So are there what are the percentage or the chances of someone being safe sexual intercourse with their mate if they did have herpes or another disease?
Okay, so good question. So with herpes, you only pass the virus when it's active. Active is if you see physical outbreaks, lesions, bumps, cuts. Also, people have symptoms of itching, aching in their legs, in their buttocks, in their feet. Some people even get in their feet. Some people get headaches. Some people get swollen lymph nodes in their neck or in their groin area. What else? Itching, discharge for some women. So some people, that's all symptoms. So if you're having any of that, anybody who's having, who have herpes, if you're having any of that, then you know not to do anything. Nothing. Because now you're at a high rate of, you're very contagious at that point with physical outbreaks. Now, this is the flip side that people kind of just can't stand about herpes, is that the herpes can be present and you don't know it. So I'm going to flip out over to chickenpox. You remember when your cousin had chickenpox, it shows up and your mom's like, oh crap, your cousin had chickenpox and we didn't even know it. Didn't care about it popping up because by the time it popped up, that means you have been contagious days before that. And everybody touching you and all of this stuff. And she knew that you could have got it in that time when they didn't see it. Same way for herpes. It can be active and you don't see it at all. It comes to the surface and you have no clue.
So the only way some people would really have to do is to get an STD test to know that they.
The biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, to walk in knowing your status. And I'll tell anybody that, knowing your status, even with herpes, and also when you meet a new person, you're disclosing information. What is your recent diagnosis on herpes as well? Because so many people don't realize they have herpes. Like they don't include it in the STD standard STD testing. So it's gonorrhea, chlamydia, HIV, syphilis, Hep C. sometimes, depending on where you are. So with that, that's the only thing they're testing for. You have to ask for herpes. And if you don't ask for it, they won't test you for it. And most doctors are going to tell you why. Like, have you ever been in contact with somebody? What's the big deal? Because to them, you can honestly, herpes is very self-manageable. You can manage yourself. To them, well, it's no big deal to us because it's not required for us to give you medicine. It's not required for you to come see me consistently every time something happens. You don't have to continue to come to me for no treatment. So to them, it's like that's something you can handle on your own. We'll give you medication if you ask for it, or we see fit for you to use it, but it's not required. So you have to ask for herpes.
So you said it's manageable. So, like, I know if somebody is experiencing the symptoms like an outbreak or something, how do they manage it, and how long do outbreaks last? Like, I mean, I have so many questions.
No, come with the questions. So how you manage it? The first thing that most doctors are going to do when you go into your physician, OBGYN, they're going to give you antivirals. So the antiviral is typically Valtrex or Cyclovir. That's the only two they really put out here. Honestly, Valtrex is the brand name. The Cyclovir is off brand. Literally, I got to tell y'all, it's really no different.
Cycle what?
A Cyclovir. A Cyclovir.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Valtrex and a Cyclovir. So that depending on what the doctor wants to give, they give what they choose. And that's typically because that's what they're selling out of their office. So they're going to give you one of those, and they're going to tell you, especially if you're having an outbreak when you come into the office, it's like, I want you to take this 2 to 3 times a day for the next 10 to 14 days, depending on what the doctor sees fit. It changes, but it's all what the doctor sees fit. After that, your doctor will say, hey, come back if you want to get another prescription. Some doctors will give you another prescription just so you won't have to come back to the office. But then some other doctors are like, no, I'll come back here, pay this copay so I can give you another prescription. It just depends. So after that, you make the decision if I want to continue to take medicine. You can take it only when you have an outbreak, or you can also ask your doctor, can I take something daily, which they'll give you about 500 milligrams, which is the typical for most medicine anyway. Every day you take it every day. It just depends on your conversation with you and your doctor. Now, I will say some doctors won't suggest that, especially if you're not having a lot of outbreaks. They don't want you to be on an antiviral for a long period of time if you really don't need it. They just don't want you to be on it. So you still have the option to ask for it. So you can take that every day, which is going to help assist with reducing your outbreaks and also assist with reducing the shedding, which I talked to you about earlier. When the virus is present and you really don't know it, the medication for sure helps with that. Now, if you're a person that's saying, I don't want to take medication, we're kind of in the health, the natural era right now. Everybody's going back to the natural way. So if you're in a place where you say, you know what, I want to go natural. If you want to go natural, it's different things you can do, which you can do lysine, you can do olive leaf extract. Some people do black seed oil.
What is lysine?
People do oil. Lysine is it's basically a supplement to boost your immune system.
Oh, okay.
It boosts your immune system. And then oregano oil. So the black seed oil, oregano oil. We don't heard those, and literally it's literally, it's the bomb. So if you're not taking it, I would suggest it. It's really good for you. So people typically take those type of supplements to assist them with boosting their immune system. As you boost your immune system, it lowers the chance of you having an outbreak because now your immune system is able to fight the virus. So that's the natural way. Or some people do topical products, topical things, essential oils, and things of that nature.
So, question. So, for women that are dealing with an outbreak, I don't know about their menstrual, cycle, and how does it impact that, or childbirth, or?
Oh, girl. So I'll say triggers, and it's for women, and I can go. Well, they both go the same for men and women. It's just a couple that's different for women. So the typical triggers, which is causing you to have an outbreak, number one is stress. Kind of hard to kind of bypass nowadays with everything going on.
Yeah.
But your stress, trying to keep your stress level down, doing things to help you manage your stress as much as possible. That is our number one trigger. After that, it is friction from sex or friction from clothing. As women, if you got your little onesie on and all that stuff rubbing and shaking, and it can break the skin and it can cause an outbreak to come on. Or for guys, they call it chafing, they working out and stuff like that. It's just irritating the skin. So you got to be careful with that, making sure you're keeping yourself dry. That's all that is, just extra moisture that's breaking the skin. So making sure you're keeping yourself dry, especially if you're in the South, it is hot. So making sure
What
you're keeping
type of
yourself dry
what
is
type
possible.
of what type of material should they be wearing for panties or undies or whatnot?
Now I ain't gonna tell you what you should wear.
Like cotton or like I don't.
I mean, the thing about it is, I won't say, because everybody have their preference of underwear. Even guys get their preference of what they wear. So I won't tell you what you should wear, but I will tell you be cautious of a lot of moisture in that area. Because if you're sweating, and just for example, women, we're out and we got on dresses, we start to sweat and our legs start to rub. Go into the bathroom and wipe yourself off. Make sure you're dry. Keep it dry as possible. That's what I mean. Same for men. If you've been working out all day, man, go change your pants. Change your underwear, because at the end of the day, that friction, you're wet and it's gonna start breaking the skin. That's all I'm saying. It's not really about what underwear to wear. It's just being more cautious of not staying damp for a long period of time.
Okay.
And then
what about
the next
childbirth and women that are giving birth that have herpes? Do you have any advice for women that would be, in labor?
Okay. I do want to answer your last question pertaining to the hormones. Yes,
Yes.
a hormone changes can cause an outbreak. Some women, if they have their menstrual, they have an outbreak before their menstrual, or some women have it after their menstrual. So honestly, it's not much you can do for your menstrual other than taking birth control and don't have one, which we know that's not a healthy thing to do. But some women, they go that route. Or you have to get to a place where you get onto a treatment plan that works for you. That may be taking antivirals, and that may help you cut down the time of having an outbreak, or you're doing the antivirals and natural remedies, or you're just doing natural remedies. You have to, that's a trial and error thing for my ladies who have, they're having their period and it's causing their trigger, that causing them to have an outbreak. You kind of got to figure out what works for you, which takes a little time and it gets a little frustrating. But as soon as you figure out how far out should I start my treatment plan, or what works for me while I'm having my outbreak, and it helped me push it forward, then it gets a little bit more easier to deal with. But yes, that can cause it. Also being pregnant can cause it, because it's a change in your hormones.
Okay. So then, so if a woman is now going through labor and she has that, what would you advise for her? Does she do a C-section? Can she have natural? What would you suggest?
All right. So with women who have herpes, they can have vaginal births. I have vaginal birth for both of my sons. I have a 10-year-old and I have a 5-year-old. I literally had my 10-year-old literally the month that I found I had herpes is the month that I had my child in. Like, it was just like a circle back around. So yes, you can have vaginal. Some doctors don't feel comfortable with it. They will say, you have herpes, you have to get a C-section. They're lying to you. You don't have to have a C-section. They're just not comfortable. And that's fine. But if you know you don't want to have a C-section or cesarean, you need to find another OB who feel comfortable, way more knowledgeable on herpes, so you don't have to go through that process of getting cesarean. Because most ladies may not even have an outbreak during her labor. So now you just got cut up for no reason. And now you're taking all this time to heal for no reason. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, you're probably going to get cesareans from now on with all your kids, depending on your OB. So I'm like, don't go that route if you don't have to. But that option is given to you if you go in and say, what, I'm really concerned. I'm having outbreaks. I don't really know my body. I found out especially if you just found your outbreak, you just found out your diagnosis around your pregnancy or it's very early. I'm not against it. I know many ladies who say, cut me open because I don't even want to worry about it. And you have that option. You have that. And if doctor don't want to give you that option, you find another doctor who want to give you the option. Don't feel like you have to stay with somebody just because they've been looking at your vagina all your life. No, you can go somewhere else with somebody who feel comfortable with offering you what you need. So when you do go through labor, when you get to your 36 weeks, or you get your third trimester, they're going to say, hey, I would love for you to take antivirals. Okay, that's one of the Valtrex or the cyclovir. They say, I want you to get on it so we can reduce the chance of you having an outbreak during your labor. Okay, I tell every ladies, go ahead and take it. It ain't gonna kill the baby. It ain't gonna hurt the baby. The baby's fine. That'll give you some peace of mind to know you're doing something. Now, if you're in a natural route phase, you don't have to, but just know you can deny that. Because I took it for my first son, but my second one, I'm like, girl, I know my body. She's like, well, Miss Spivey, I said, well, I was Samuel then. Miss Samuel, girl, if you don't leave me alone, no, I don't want to take nothing. I don't want to take anything. She's like, well, you'll get a cesarean. I said, I bet I won't. Bet I won't. Because by then I knew my body. So if you go through the process and you're going to labor, they're going to check you. Literally, the nurses, they'll come into the room. They say, hey, we want to talk to you. Is it comfortable for everybody to talk? And if you don't want anybody to know and nobody else know but your husband and your partner, you can tell everybody to leave but that person. They're gonna say, okay, Miss Whoever, we just want to make sure, you're not having any outbreaks, you having any lesions, do you have any symptoms? And typically will say no, or you say yes if you feel like that. But you say no, they're like, okay, well, we're gonna check you anyway. And they're gonna get down there and they're gonna get the searching and moving and everything to make sure. And if you get another nurse that comes in another shift, she's gonna do the exact same thing. Because they want to make sure, because they know if a child comes through the birth canal, it could be deadly towards the baby. It could be deadly. Mm-hmm. So they're going to make sure, they're going to look and they're going to check to make sure. And even for my ladies, if you feel like you're getting closer to your labor and you're feeling like you're having symptoms, please call your OBGYN like ASAP and say, hey, feel like I'm having some symptoms, blah, blah, blah. So then y'all can start planning what you guys going to do. Because you may not be fully into labor yet. They're like, oh, girl, you got a couple more. They may check you, so you good. But if you're real close and you're literally active labor, you need to tell them. Don't wait till you get all the way to the doctor, all in there. And they're going to look at you like, why you didn't tell me that earlier? Because now they want to be in a mental space to kind of like prepare for whatever they're walking into, because literally they don't want to do a emergency cesarean if they don't have to. They really want to plan it if need be. So it just depends. But yeah, they're going to check you. I don't want you to walk in and think they're not going to check. No, they take that one really serious because they know it's really dangerous to an infant. So they're going to check you. All is well. You can still have a vaginal birth with no problem. I had to hope to have others if I have more children, have more vaginal births. So you can. Don't let anybody tell you can't. And please don't let the internet scare you to death thinking you can't, because you can't.
So how did you find love after your herpes diagnosis? Tell me about those conversations and what was that like? How did you overcome any awkwardness? What did you have to say? I mean, I don't know. I haven't found love in a hot minute, so whatever. It's all good.
Listen, so you don't think I ring on my finger? So we in the same boat. We're in the same boat. So when I end up getting married, I feel like I still wasn't in a good place. So I can talk about how I disclosed to him. So we were talking, whatever, and I did the basic. I said, you know what? We're going to have this sex talk. You're talking sexual, so let's go ahead and get this. When the last time you've been tested? When the last time you've been sexually active? Have you ever had an STI? And he asked me the same question. I say, yeah, I ended up contracting herpes. And I kind of told him the story. And he was like, I said, how you feel about that? He was like, okay. He didn't even flinch.
Did he have herpes? Did he have herpes?
No, at the time, interestingly, he didn't think he did. Okay, at the time, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But at the end of the day, when we walked into the door, it was very clear to him he didn't believe he had it, because he said he had just been tested. He was like, no, but what I know now and what I didn't know then, what I know now is a chance that he'd never been tested for it. He'd been tested for everything else, but not that. But I was still coming out of date. I was only 5 years into my diagnosis, so I didn't really know as much as I know now. So, and he was just like, that's good, I'm fine. And we went on about our little happy old lives, got married, had normal sex life, nothing changed. And then I came out the relationship and got tested because it was on my spirit to get tested, and found out that I had type 1. I was like, I just had type 2 when I walked in this door. So clearly he had type 1 and he didn't know it, which I didn't knock him for, because most people don't. So that was interesting at the least.
So after this, you guys had 2 children.
No,
and then,
1.
Okay, you guys had 1 child.
My youngest one. Yeah.
Okay.
The relationship before that one, that was the same conversation. I can truly say, I was dating older men, so the conversation was way smooth. It was real smooth. Like, conversation was real smooth. When the last time you had sex? Like, well, I had sex with such and such this time. And, I was like, when the last time you been tested? Like, okay, cool. They kept the conversation was just real smooth. Even with my first son's father, with my oldest son's father, he was like, oh, okay. He didn't care. Both of them just did not care. Now, for the last couple of guys, they were more close into my age bracket. They were like, oh no, or, I had guys even tell me, I would never date nobody with it, but I'll date you though. Okay. So they was like, well, I'm way more comfortable because by then I'm a herpes activist. So they're like, well, she gonna make sure I'm good and she comfortable with herself. So I know I'm safe. I'm good because she's in a good place now. But I had some guys who were like, no, I can't deal with that. I had some guys who was like, that's good. We can have sex, but I don't want to commit. I had dudes who wanted to commit. So I don't dealt with a little bit of all of it. But I feel like in the midst of all of that, I had confidence. I was like, this is what it is, in or out. Even though I'm not saying my feelings didn't get hurt when I had rejection, I dealt with it on the back end. But I just walked in and was like, you're going to be in or you're going to be out. I have to respect what you want. If you don't want to deal, that's right. That's cool. Because it may be some things I don't want to deal with you.
Now, I commend you so much for that. And I think it's wonderful that you had the talks with your partners about sex, about, your status and what you had going on and your intentions. And I think that it's wonderful that you were able to find love and, create beautiful children and move forward. You're helping so many other women, and I commend you for that. You're helping men and women. And so I want to talk a little bit too about like what you've got going on. I know about a year or so ago, you were just doing this whole overcomer thing. And I know that's what resonated with me with you is because we both are overcomers. And I talk about overcoming, homelessness and all this stuff. And you talked about, overcoming the stigma and stuff. So talk to us a little bit about how you were able to just flip the switch and help others to overcome who are dealing with, herpes or other STDs.
So my biggest thing was I came up with overcoming the stigma standing in, and this is before I even had the children, had anything. I stood in my dorm where I said, I'm going to overcome the stigma. It didn't resonate what I was saying at the time at 19. It resonated when I was married and I'm pacing up and down my floor because we broke. Okay. So I'm pacing up and down the floor like, I'm in school, what we gonna do? Like at that time, I'm at home full time. Because I was like, right now, like it's just a lot. So I'm like, bro, these bills something gotta give. Like, I don't have all this education for no reason. So we gotta figure something out. So I'm pacing the floor back and forth, like, okay, God, what I'm gonna do. And he said, be a herpes activist. I said, hold up. I ain't asked that. I asked you for some money, really. I really asked for that. And that came back to me of go and help people. And I'm looking like, charge people for that, bro? You're supposed to charge people for that. You're supposed to just help people. He was like, no. I need you to pull in. Like, this is bigger than what you think it is. And then later on, as I was kind of like starting to say, okay, I want to do this and reaching out to coaches and getting mentors and, just being around other entrepreneurs, kind of telling them what I want to do and kind of like, tell me what y'all think, kind of give me how to do this thing. I had one woman, I got on the phone with her. She was a coach and I was telling her what I want to do. And she was like, Belize, I don't think you should just focus on herpes. And I said, no, I know you're not working in the Holy Spirit because that's not what I heard, but at the end of the day, she was like, you should talk about all STDs. I said, no, that's not what I want to do. But she said, you should still call yourself the STD. She said, well, you should call yourself the STD life coach and not herpes activist coach or herpes coach. I took one thing for her and took off running. I was like, good, that's all I need from you because you clearly wasn't working. You was not what I wanted, but I understood what she's saying because on a big scale, it's so many people who need help with STDs, which I have people come to me about HPV. I have people come to me about questions about HIV, but I shift them to my friends because I have friends who have HIV and things. I'm like, hold up, that's a whole nother department. I'm going to shift you over to somebody who understands, especially somebody who have it. I talk to people who got gonorrhea, chlamydia. I have people talk to me about those things, but I knew my heart lied with herpes because we didn't have the support like everybody else. We just didn't. Yeah. We don't have that type of support. So I wanted to stay where the need was. So after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. So I just started promoting. I started doing YouTube videos, which I was terrified to do that one video. I did that video in 6 minutes and I was talking. You could tell I was talking super fast. Because I was like, I got to get this video out. I was standing in my kitchen. I was married at the time. So I'm like, And everyone's like, what? You left out a lot. I said, I just wanted to get it out. Let me
Yeah.
just get it out. As the years went on, I started breaking the story down and explaining everything more in detail because my whole goal in getting on YouTube was to be number one of the first Black women on YouTube talking about herpes, and also be the most consistent, which I am the most consistent.
And how has that been with your clientele? Like, how have you been blessed since, like, with being able to help people? And
listen, I love them like they my sisters. Like some of these young ladies, like two of my first clients are close friends now. Like, most people tell you, especially if you're a therapist, don't become friends with you. It's compromising. I took them too, and I ain't friending nobody else. I'm out. Hey, I'm not gonna friend nobody else. But at the end of the day, those two women literally helped me realize why I was doing what I was doing. Honestly, even when I talk to them now, I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy I did this because I wouldn't have met these two amazing women. They were my admins in my groups. They were even mentors to me, like, Belize, you should do this. And Belize, you should do that. And, you see this and you see that. And they kind of like birthed out a lot of stuff that I thought about, but they kind of confirmed it, especially since they knew me personally, but they also knew me as a coach to them. So I truly enjoyed it. I love the people I meet. I meet amazing women, like amazing men and women. It's some fine dudes. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I shoot my shot sometimes. I'm like, you scared because I'm in the public. Oh, Jesus, get over it. But I meet amazing people. This past weekend, I went to Chicago. I met a young lady up there. She's in my group. I've had a session with her, but she wanted to meet me. So I went all the way to Chicago to see her because at the end of the day, I feel like, why not? Like at the end of the day, if you made an impact in my life, and I'm like, you're gonna be all the way in Chicago. I'm going to Chicago to meet you because at the end of the day, you made just such of an impact. So I truly enjoy it. I can't say it.
So I just have so many questions for you. So, how have you been able to help people with your products and your services as you've helped them with, overcoming the stigma? You're helping them to deal with herpes. So tell us about that, some of your products and services.
Good thing is, like, when I started with my services, it was just coaching people for free. I was like, I'm going to get my feet wet. Because by then, I was in the process of getting my master's. So they were really like, that's dummies, and they didn't realize it. I was like, I'm about to utilize my degree on these people and then after I got my degree, I received my degree. That's when I got to a place I thought, okay, I'm going to charge because I got this master's. I had the backing. So I enjoyed it because I finally get on the phone with people who never talked about their status. I mean, never. I have people who are 10 years in. I have talked to women who are 60. I don't talk to women over 65. Literally over 65 who never talked to anybody. And I be looking like, girl, you did what? I'm sounding like they mama, what did you do? You're supposed to do that, type of thing. But I understood why they did some of the things they did because I have made the same exact mistakes. Because let's truly look. If you look up herpes, the questions you're asking me now, you will not find a clear answer. You just won't. You'll have to get it out of the mouth of a herpes activist who kind of tell you their experience and kind of give you a straight line of what it is. But also with herpes, it's so teeter-tottering because at the end of the day, your situation may be a little different from mine. So it's not like most other STIs. It's kind of like straightforward. You know what you're going to expect. You know what's going to happen. If you don't do this, this was going to happen. Like, we don't even have no side effects. If I don't take no medicine, if I want to let this outbreak run rapid, it's going to run rapid and disappear. So it's just so different for us. So I've been able to talk to people privately, help them get their confidence back, help them like navigate through relationships. I've been able to, God has allowed me to say some things to some people. I was like, God, that wasn't me. He was sending private messages to people like, get my child because you're tripping, type thing. So I've been able to be used by God to talk to people, even talk to believers who are struggling within their own faith. So I think I get more happy about that to help people come to God and also rededicate their life to Christ because we get lost. You start having sex, you get lost. You're like, God don't love me no more. No, that's a lie. He do love you. You got to get back in line. So just helping people understanding that. And then it's going to be a year literally this month. Well, it'll be 5 years on Saturday that I've been doing this. And it'll be 1 year completely at the end of the month that I had my product. Literally a year. So this is like
Tell us about your product. What is your product?
So I have 4 products. I have the Speed Up Cream, which is a topical cream that you can apply on the outbreak, facial or genital area. And what it does is help you speed up the outbreak. Okay, because a lot of us taking medication, but you still having that external struggle, and you want something to help you because the medication help you internal. You want something to help you external to get reduce the pain, reduce the itching, the burning, things like that. So the topical cream helps tremendously. Then I have an itch be gone spray. Love the itch be gone spray. If you're itching, baby, spray it on it. It's gonna do what it needs to do. It's gonna reduce that spray. It's gonna reduce it. Even if I have my ladies who deal with yeast infections or bacterial vaginosis, they'll help with that too because I struggle with that tremendously. And that's not always sex related. That's just your diet. Is many things that may be going on with you to cause you to have yeast infection and bacterial vaginosis. But if you're dealing with the itching, itch be gonna help. Then the next thing that I created was the wash out soap, which that was like literally people yell for that because I wasn't gonna create that. But I had a man reach out to me and he said, "Do you have a soap?" And I was like, "No, but I've been creating soap for 2 years for myself." He was like, "Do you have one?" I literally created that same day and say, I told him, "Yes, I do," and I created it. It's the wash out soap. Wash out soap. Yeah, wash out. So you basically, my goal is to wash your outbreak out. So basically, I've created this because a lot of people use soap that can cause it to burn, depending on what you're using and things like that. So I wanted you to use a soap that's going to help you heal. And I don't want you to deal with the burning. So now you're using a soap to help you heal.
Natural soaps will backfire.
No, like, I'm not saying it will. It won't. It's not everybody, but I know some people, including myself. I use certain soaps, and I'm like, oh, that burn because you got an open wound down there, and it burns really bad because of some things in the product. So I wanted people to be able to use a gentle soap that's going to clean you, number one, but also help you heal at the same time. Now you got 2 in 1. Now you can use it and you feel good. So I created the wash out soap, and then the last product I created was the Relax Me tea, which I'm a tea fanatic. Shockingly, I didn't get tea in front of me. I didn't have enough time to force my kid to pick one. But I'm a tea fanatic. I love tea, and I feel like most of us struggle with relaxing, especially when you're dealing with an outbreak. Your body under a lot of stress, you're under a lot of pain. I wanted you to be able to take something or drink something to make you feel more relaxed and also get some sleep, because a lot of people just struggle with sleeping at time. And we know you have to get rest for your body to heal. It won't do anything if you're not healing and you're stressing. So the Relax Me tea pretty much bring it down a notch. So now you can relax and you can really give your body time to heal. So those are my 4 products, which I bundle some of those products together. Some of those products, I even have them in travel sizes, especially if you're doing a lot of traveling now, going to different areas and things like that.
Look
you want to have
you.
Look, you gotta have your stuff on you, because I don't have ladies like, girl, I'm in New York. Can you send me something? I'm like, yeah, 1 second. I'm like shifting stuff out, but trying to get somebody to get her some cyclovir. Oh, sorry. But trying to get her to get something, because I understand you're on this trip, you're having a good time, and all of a sudden you're having an outbreak of Banats. It's like the worst thing. It's just like, wow, you're ruining my trip. So I created a like a travel kit as well. Also, I have little samples. So if you're like, Belize, I don't know if I really want to try it, but I want to try it. So I also have samples and bundles.
How much are your products and services, and where could they find your products and services?
So it varies in price. So one of my most popular sessions, my overcoming session, is $50. And then it goes all the way down to 15. And the 15 one is me explaining your test results. Because some people just don't, the test results don't make sense. You don't know what it is. And you want to make sure you're really positive. Some people just put it in a portal and say, figure it out on your own. So I read people's test results and also give them some psychological support in their product. So they go all the way down. My products go from 15, well, if you get a bundle, so 99 all the way down to, I think, $5.99, just depending on what you're getting. And the 99 is where you get a session with me for an hour, and you get the Itch Be Gone. Itch Be Gone. You also get the Speed Up Cream, and you also get the, what else do you, wash out soap. So you get the most popular ones. Plus, you get a session for 99. You can't beat that. Like, you get products and a session.
You get Itch Be Gone, and which other one?
The Itch Be Gone, and also the wash out soap and the Speed Up Cream.
You get all three of those?
Yep, you get all three of those and a session, an hour session with me,
Wow,
or 100.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Love how you're helping so many people. So how many
Mm-hmm.
clients have you been able to help so far, up to this year?
Up to this year, I'm not even sure. I would say over the last 4 years I've been doing that, I think I have helped overpaid over 300. But that's not even background because I get emails and texts and like DMs. But that's just people on the phone who made an investment in themselves. I say over 300. But listen,
Okay.
I'm the type, if you got one question, I'm going to answer you. There's no need to get you on the phone. Like when we talk about something, like, girl, you need to get on the phone. Man, you got to get on the phone because you're getting real deep, and you got to tell me the whole story. I'm telling people, I need to get in your business because you're trying to drop bombs, and I can't help you if you're only giving me enough information. But if somebody come and ask me like a quick question, something simple, I'm like, nah, let me answer your question and send you on your way. But if it's more, if I see that you need more support and I notice that you're struggling, then I said, come on, let's do a session. And I know it'll be beneficial to you. So, yeah, I think over 300. Y'all, come on, Belize, you did that, girl.
This has been so helpful for people that are dealing with, and I love your theme of overcoming the stigma. And are you still doing those tours, or I know with COVID, everything?
Listen, that's why I just went to Chicago, because that was a part of the tour. I canceled my first 3 because literally the whole world was shut down. But I told myself, like, I kept going back and forth, and I was like, with everything that's going on, I can't cancel it. Like, I can't cancel these last 3 because if things change, I have to. But at the end of it, I didn't want to cancel in a time like that because I knew most of my clients were struggling with outbreaks. I knew they were struggling with how to deal with all of this, and they couldn't go anywhere because a lot of my ladies are single. You're dealing with that and dealing with outbreaks, or in a relationship and the relationship is shifting. It's just too much. So I was like, if I can get to you, you better come see me, because at this time, we don't know what 2021 gonna look like. So I'm not even planning for 2021 at all, because I don't know. I planned for 2020, and I was like, wipe out my goals, guys. Just wipe them clean. Like,
Yeah. Wow. And so I just want to say thank you for being so transparent and open. And I pray that, you will be able to find love again, and it'll be great. Now,
I can feel them. I can feel them like
talk to me about that? Is there like a dating circle of, like, we all have this, for all herpes dating site, or is there something for people, to give them a hope that can say, okay, well, we can have relationships and romance again, and it's not over, it's not the end of our life, it's just a new chapter, it's just a transition, it's just a shift. What have you done, as far as with that, and what have you seen work for people with a romance and dating again, with herpes?
Okay, so we do have positive singles. Okay, so you can get it pretty much free, but then for you to have real access, you have to pay for it. So I have
What is it called?
On positive singles.
Positive singles?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you'll go in there, you can meet other people who have any type of STI. But most people use it for herpes. So you have that. And I have heard good and I have heard bad. I have heard both flip sides. So I feel like you just kind of got to go in just like you would date anybody like you meet people anywhere. You got to shift through. You got to figure out if you find somebody who's serious, want what you want. So that's the main one. It's a lot of herpes groups. You just got to knock on a secret door. That's the interesting part. You got to knock on secret doors and say secret codes to get into groups. Which I know it's a couple of groups on Facebook, but like I said, you got to knock on secret doors, which I think just makes it very hard to get into it. But positive signals is another one. I know a lot of my ladies have done Bumble, down did swipe left, swipe right. And listen, they have done everything. Tinder. I know ladies who did Tinder, Bumble, the regular dating site. So I know some ladies who did that too. And they have been just transparent in their bio. So they told them, hey, I have HSV1 or I have herpes. make sure you read this bio. And when they reach out and say, did you read the bio? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. We fine with that. We can figure it out. So some ladies are real open with it, or some ladies that get to know the guy and then tell them later. So I've had some ladies do that and they had success there. For me, listen, I just meet whoever I can find, Yo Joe on the street. I don't mind. I'm old school. I want him to walk up to me. Like, that's just me. Slipping the DM. I don't mind slipping in the DM. That don't hurt me either. But I'm just I guess because of my age now, and I didn't have this. I didn't have all of this. I had what? Chat sites. That's what we had back in the day. So I didn't have this apps and all this. So that's how I met my first boyfriend. He was so sweet. But at the end of the day, MySpace and things like that. So I'm still in the mindset of I don't really use the internet. I really like to meet you now. Like I said, I'm not against it, but I'm not the type to go on to dating sites, seeking out things like that. That's just not me. But I encourage my ladies to say, if that works for you, just be sure what you're going in looking for. If you're not interested, cut the door, cut it off, and keep it moving. If he's not what you want, if she's not what you want, keep it moving. If you don't feel comfortable, keep it moving. You can always delete the app if you're not ready. But I tell anybody, if they're ready to date, make sure you have accepted your status, where you got to a place where you understand your body, you know your treatment plan, you know how to answer some of them questions, and you're ready to disclose, because you can't move forward and just like, I don't want to disclose, then you're not ready to date.
So what about like Christians on those sites? You have like Christians that, because I know you're Christian, so I mean, do you have Christians that I love God, all that, and yet I'm dealing with this, and are they able to find love right in there as well?
People like, interestingly, it's not many women who just come out to me and say they're Christian. I've learned that over my time in here. It's over time that I learned that they're Christians. Because in my group, I have a group on Facebook. It's like over 1,100 of us in there. And it's a group of everything in the group. They know I'm a believer because I make it clear. But I let everybody just be free. I do tone in sometimes. Hold up now, y'all. I don't do witchcraft, so y'all have to kill it. But at the end of the day, outside of that, I let everybody be them, because at the end of the day, they know why they came to me, because you seen Jesus. You didn't come to me because of me. You came to me, as much as you trying to deny him, you came to me because of him. So a lot of them don't realize it right away, but later on, a lot of ladies come out and say, yeah, I'm a believer. I just struggle here and I struggle there. And I have conversation with them, but I kind of let everybody do their own thing, and I support them the best way I can in where they are in their own walks, in their own type of thinking. And I just try to support them where they are, because that's all I can say. I'm trying to be very.
That's so beautiful. Now, have you had any, I'm sure you've had, success with people, finding their perfect spouse or their mate.
Yes. Well, I have loved that. I have had ladies who say, my life is over, and now they're married and they have children. And, so I love that part, because I was like, y'all remember when she was just losing her mind? I haven't had ladies who were suicidal. I know I had ladies who were committed suicide and trying to commit suicide. I even lost a client. Before I can even get on the phone with her, she committed suicide. And by the time I reached back out, because I'm like, I said, let's get on the phone. Let's get on the phone. And then I messaged her back. They kind of like, I haven't heard from her. Her mom messaged me back and told me she had killed herself. It was just, it was traumatizing for me. Like, because I was going through the
really serious. So it's like you're dealing with all the psychological, mental effects as well, because some people really can't handle. They can't cope with.
Handle it.
Wow. And wow, how has that been? That's like a whole ministry, Belize. That's a whole.
It is ministry.
That's like a herpes pastor.
Listen, that's the reason why I'm getting my doctors in traumatology, because this is trauma. This is traumatizing. And I don't think anybody understands that getting an STI is traumatizing. It's not something you look for. It's not something you want to experience. And when you do experience it, you remember everything you heard other people say. You remember negative things you said, and it slams you in your face. And like, oh my God, I'm everything I said I was. I'm everything my mom said I would be if I was this and I did that. So now you're getting slammed with all that, all the stuff that subconscious, it just slams you. And you're like, oh my God, I can't live my life. My mama said, if I ever got this, I will be this and I'll be that. And I said, if you did this, then you're this and that. That's why you got to be careful what you say. Because those same things get stuck in your subconscious. And when it happened to you, it comes back. So you remember when? You remember if this happened or this, You're going to be this. And now all these ladies and men think, I'm this nasty person. I'm disgusting and I'm worthless and nobody going to want me. Because that's
Which
what
is
they've been
not
hearing all
true.
these years.
Right.
What they said. So I tell
Wow.
people, just you can't believe everything you hear. Even if it's not your situation, do not say negative things because you just never know if you're going to be in that situation. And those same things you said or heard or accepted are going to hunt you. They hunt you later, sadly to say. They do hunt you later. Because I felt that too. I was like, well, I ain't never had no STD. I don't know who she been messing with. I ain't never messed with nobody like that. Mm. To me, and I was like crying because I was like, but I said this and I said that, and things like that. So I'll tell anybody, be careful what you say about people in any situation because you just never know when you're going to be in that situation, or Lord forbid, one of your close friends, and the first thing you're going to think is all those things you say, sad, dang, it's my friend like that. And you may not say it to your friend, but you think it because you don't thought those things for so long, but
we have to be careful not to judge. It's, I mean, even with your story. Yeah. Now, even with your story, which I respect because I watched your video, you were an innocent 19-year-old. It's not like you were like a church, on the church pew doing a 40-day fast. Like, you were a 19-year-old in college. I know I was a 19-year-old in college. We all have to find ourselves. You know what I mean? Yep. And not all of us have the privilege of being in church our whole life, sitting on the pew. We got to figure life out. You know what I mean? And you had to figure out the hardest one to deal with. Out with a guy, and there you have it. It's not like you were, laid out doing all kind of stuff, like sleeping with 40 guys in a day. You had one guy, like any typical 19-year-old girl, and that's not in church. And you went and you had a good time, not thinking anything of that. And like I said, the sex talk and stuff like that, certain parents aren't giving sex talk. My mom didn't give a sex talk. My dad, he didn't give a sex talk. They gave me a sentence each of what they felt.
Yeah, two sentences.
My mom looks at me and says, sex is good. My dad looks at me and says, use a condom. That was it. I didn't get this, make sure, if you have sex, this could happen. You could have children.
They tell you it was bad and you're going to get pregnant and you're going to get STI. They just told you, I'm not going to lie to you, it's real good. And your dad said, well, just put a condom on it. Like, I said, I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to tell you.
There was nothing else. They weren't deep people like that. They didn't, it was like I had to figure that thing out. And I'm thankful that God was able to reel me in and to say, okay, let's wait and, whatever. And now it's like, I'm still learning from the Lord. You know what I mean? Like I'm still trying to learn and preserve myself and figure out what I need to do as a lady and how to, prepare myself, as a wife, in the future, if that be God's will. So, I mean, I get it, so who are we to judge? That could have been anybody.
Even on the flip side, because it's young ladies who are promiscuous, which I was one of those. I just looked up and was just one that day because I had friends, I had a team. I'm not gonna lie. I said, if you didn't give it to me today, I go find it somewhere else. But those guys, and I can say this is a lot of people's mindset, and I have to break this to my people in the church because I think we tend to forget that it's a mindset. Like, I want what I want, and I feel like if I find it with somebody safe or a couple of people safe, I think I'm good. That's just a mindset. It's not that I'm trying to go out here and get anything. It's just I thought they were good. Like we never did nothing bad before.
See, I would have been scared to death of pregnancy, of something. I would have been scared to die after it. Like I don't know. I just feared. I just had this fear of God. Like, if I do this, God could strike me dead, and I know where I'm going, or I'm going to end up pregnant.
That conviction. I didn't have that type of conviction. I wasn't raised in the church, even though my grandma was like literally. My grandma was in the church. But still, and you can see what I mean. You got people who in the church but don't teach church. They don't teach God. So you're in there, but they never teach you the relationship that they have privately. So you only know the church feel. You don't know private conversations that they have in the prayer life and things like that. But my grandma didn't teach me that, even though I seen her with a Bible. It ain't like she ever pulled me in and say, baby, this is the Bible, read it. I didn't get that. So I didn't get God. I didn't really learn about, I learned God through friends. Literally, my close friends' families were in church. I learned God with me going to church and he breaking me down. I'm crying, like, oh, I'm trying to do bad things. Like literally, it was more of a him coming to me and saying, you ain't here today because I'm trying to get you. And me going to the altar over and over and over and over again because I was with somebody else. So I really kind of learned God with just people inviting me and him just calling me himself. I feel like when I hit 19, even though I was still going to church here and there, I still didn't have that. I need you to stop this. Like, you don't understand how dangerous this is to you. So I believe him giving me herpes woke me up. Even though I don't care what nobody say. You'll still get a wake up call and still keep doing the same thing because it's a behavior. It takes a minute to break it. So I knew I needed to stop having sex, but I was still kind of like trying to break this cycle of please just stop. And I was like, but it's good. But I don't know why I'm still attached to it. So it took me a while to break it, but I feel like herpes kind of like slowed me up and say, now I'm about to show you what your real problem is, because it's not sex. It's loneliness, it's lack of love, it's you don't know me for real. That's why you experience things in your childhood. I dealt with molestation. I've been almost raped multiple times. So it's a lot of stuff that was happening in the background, but I used sex as a cover-up because that was the first thing that was introduced to me. So I was like, well, I'm gonna keep doing what the one thing that was introduced to me, and it feels good.
Yeah.
But I feel like now I have control over it. Now you're not going to take advantage of me. I'm going to use you, you, and you, and you, and you. Nobody got control over my sex life. I do.
Wow.
Which is dangerous, but that was my mindset.
Well, I think it's beautiful that you've been able to evolve into the STD coach that you are today. And I wish you the best of luck. And I know people are going to want to reach out to you and find out your information. So how can they reach you?
All right. So you can go to
your social media, Gmail.
Okay. So my website is www.stdlifecoach.com. You can everything you need. You can contact me there. Go to the contact me page. You can also get to my YouTube from there. You can get to my Facebook, and you can get to my Instagram. Everything you can get from their website. So you can book sessions there. I have courses there. I have frequently asked questions there. I have my products there. Everything you need is there.
Wonderful. Can they find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. Instagram is STD Life Coach, and Facebook is STD Life Coach as well.
I'm just all one word, or?
Yes, all one word. STD Life Coach on Instagram, and then Facebook, same STD Life Coach. I'm the only one. Y'all ain't gonna find nobody else. They gonna pull up all my stuff. I ain't even gonna like. I'm the only person. If you see somebody using that hashtag, you know they ain't me, because my face is plastered on everything. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, I'm the only one, y'all.
This has been a wonderful session, and it's just really I appreciate your openness and your spirit. You have such a joy, and you're just so fun to hang out with. And I think it's wonderful that you've been able to take something that was meant to destroy you, and you've just dominated it. So you continue to overcome and continue to spread light on overcoming the stigma, continue to activate or be an activist for people and helping people, because guess what? They're still human. They still bleed red. They still have hearts full of love, and they deserve the best. And I appreciate people like you that are helping people with herpes and other STDs. So again, Belize, thank you so much for joining the show. And if you guys are tuning in, you have just heard us here. I'm with Belize Spivey with the STD coach. She's talking about overcoming the stigma and how she has triumphed as a herpes overcomer, and how she's helping so many thousands, millions across the world to overcome it. If you want to join her bandwagon, go to her website, www.stdlifecoach.com. Again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to The Real Talk Show. I'm Dr. India White, and I'm very grateful to be here, and I will see you guys next time. Check out my website, www.india-white.com. If you want my book, Double for Your Trouble, my autobiography, you can get that. send me an email at india.white.123@gmail.com, or you can just contact me via Facebook or via social media. So with that said, thanks so much, guys. Have a wonderful night. Until next week, I'll see you later. Bye.